Hey guys, so I'm back. Today we're talking about the Bridge Kingdom by Danielle Jensen. This is what it looks like. So I found out about this from somebody in one of the JLA groups on Facebook. They posted that it was really good and it was 99 cents. So, like the song, it was 99 cents. So I had to check it out, and it's really good. It's really good. I was surprised. And it was $1, and I thought originally I gave this a 4-star, but when I reread it, because the second one just came out, which is called The Traitor Queen, also by the same author, Danielle Jensen, I apparently gave it a 5-star. So there you go. So it's a enemies to lovers thing. I'll give you the synopsis, and it's a pretty quick read. I think it's 300 and some pages. Like, I would say 3 days, give or take, to read. So the main character, it switches point of view between the two main characters, which is Laura or Lara. It's Lara. So I can't reconcile it in my head because I want to say it my southern drawl, which is Laura, which is Laura, but because it's Lara, I feel like it should be Lara or Lara, or not the southern drawl Laura. But so it's Laura and Aaron. So Laura is the princess of this kingdom called Merdrina. And her father has literally raised her and her sisters to, one of them is one day going to marry the king of Ithacana, which is Aaron, and will bring down Ithacana because he has raised them to believe that Ithacana is the source of all of their troubles. So they literally, from the time they were 5 years old, spent 15 years or so, because I think they're different ages. I don't think all the sisters are the same age. Anyway, being prepared to basically become a secret spy in the kingdom of Ithacana. Now, the reason this takes place is because there was a treaty signed between their parents, between the king of Ithacana before he passed away and Aaron became king, and the king of Merdrina, that in 15 years their children would wed each other so that they could be allies. So Lara, whatever, thinks, I like the name, I can't, yeah, okay. Lara, she comes to Ithacana with the belief that Aaron is the devil. And things happen. The characters grow. They change. Their relationship with one another changes. And like I said, it's a enemies to lovers book. And it tears your nerves up because it doesn't go the way you think it will or should. So I love and hate that about the book, because I love when I don't see it coming, right? When I can't figure the plot out within the first 30 minutes of the book. I love that. But at the same time, it really broke my heart the way things happen in the book. So that's it. This is your spoilers warning. That was the synopsis, the review, and now it's time for spoilers. Spoilers. All right. So now it's time for the details. So, like I said, Laura has been raised this whole entire time to believe that Aaron and his kingdom are the enemy and the whole reason that her people are starving. And so she comes with the agenda, like her father's basically said, figure out a way to infiltrate and take down this kingdom to save your people. And there were 12 sisters, I think, and only one of them was going to be queen. So she figured out that the other sisters, whoever wasn't picked, would be killed. So in order to save her sisters, she concocts a plan, and she poisons her sisters. And you don't know that it's not for real when you're first reading the book. You're like, oh God, she just killed all her sisters. But she gives them some sort of like potion to make it look like they're dead, with the intent of, now my sisters will be free and I will go on to carry out the plan. And that way, if anything happens to somebody, it happens to me and not any of my sisters. Okay. So the king of Maradrina, aka her dad, is Silas Valiant. And anyway, there were 20 girls, but only 12 have survived to make it to the point where they can actually marry the king. So I literally, when I was writing it, I wrote, oh crap, she poisoned all her sisters. And she says, so this is one of her quotes. She says, I will be the next queen of Ithaca, and I will bring the Bridge Kingdom to its knees. So she's like all gung-ho, like, I'm gonna do it. And so anyway, the king like literally kills everybody that had anything to do with the plot, right? Everybody dies except for like his personal guard, because he's vicious, y'all. He's vicious. So anyway, Saren, which is the master of intrigue, or the spy master, I do not like to compare him to Varys, the spider, because I feel like Varys was a much better person than Saren's nasty. And they call him the Magpie. That's his nickname, is the Magpie. So they leave the compound in flames, and she left a note in one of her sister's pocket, kind of explaining, like, I was trying to save your lives, and this is why I did what I did. So Ithaca, the land that she's going to, is like a series of islands that's all connected by this one bridge. That's why it's called the Bridge Kingdom. And because of the way the islands are situated, they control the majority of the trade in the world. And so she's just been led to believe that basically they charge such exorbitant tolls and taxes and everything else that her people cannot afford food. Yeah. So, and the bridge is the only way to travel 10 months out of the year because the weather is so bad. There's only like 2 months out of the year where the weather is good enough for nations to send their own ships and not use the bridge. So, Saren, the Magpie, teaches her a code to use, to sneak information out. But the problem is that the Ithacanians, I don't know how you say it, they have code breakers. So it's not going to be an easy thing to do. Okay. So here's another, and they kind of just drill it into her that Ithaca is the reason that her people are starving. And so this is a quote. It's actually inner dialogue from Lara. And it says, Ithaca would pay for its crimes against her people, and by the time she was through with its king, he'd do more than bend, he'd bleed. So when they get to the capital of Maradrina, of her country, now, they've been kept in a compound this whole time, like away from everybody. The capital is called Vencia. And he gives her these ceremonial wedding knives, which are a Maradrinian tradition, but hers are actually disguised throwing knives because she's been trained as a spy and an assassin. And so he gives her a weapon, and it's the only thing he's ever given her. So he tells her how proud he is of them because he was there when they made their first kills. Yeah, he's a creepy one. So anyway, the poor starving people are outside like cheering at her carriage and thanking her and calling her a martyr. And she looks at her father and is like, why don't you do something? Why are you letting these people starve? And her father says, well, why else do you think I made you? You do something. So anyway, they get on a ship. They head to Ithaca. And Laura, because she was raised in the desert, doesn't know how to swim. So she is not a fan of being on ships, being on the islands, being in the water, any of that. So anyway, her father tells her right as they're getting ready to get to the wedding, as it were, if you betray me, I will hunt you down, and what I do to you will make you wish that you died alongside your sisters. So she tells him that if she succeeds, she wants her freedom, and he agrees. The Ithacanians are like drumming as they show up, and they wear these like demon masks, so like she's scared to death. And her father like literally like pushes her towards the king, and the priestess says some vows, and then a soldier comes up and does different vows. And so he asks her, these are kind of cool vows. He says, do you, Laura Valiant, Princess of Meredrina, swear to fight by this man's side, to defend him to your dying breath, to cherish this man's body and none other, and to be loyal to him as long as you both live? And then, of course, he has to say the same thing. So I just thought they were really cool vows. And so anyway, their hands are cut and put together like the sharing of blood. And the thunder claps, and the king of Ithaca tells her father, like, you should probably head back before the storm, gets you. Bye, Felicia. So anyway, point of view switches to Aaron then at that point, and we find out that he has a twin sister named Anna, and she's a commander of her own island. And then it switches back to Laura, and she wakes up, and Anna is in her room trying on her dresses. And they speak and kind of have some conversations, and she goes outside and finds this hot spring that's for bathing. And she overhears Aaron and Anna talking about her and about Meredrina. And she hears Aaron say Meredrina will starve before it sees the benefit of this treaty. And she takes that to mean like he's being the cruel, horrible person that she was raised to believe that he is. And so she has every intention of stabbing him to death there in the courtyard. But she thinks better of it, because then she, wouldn't be able to bring down the kingdom, and she would probably just be killed for her trouble. So she's getting ready to go back to her room, and Aaron comes out. And, of course, he's tall and broad and handsome with dark hair and hazel eyes. So he's basically a jerk to her because he thinks she's just some spoiled little princess. Like, he doesn't know what she's been through. And she gives it right back to him. She gives it right on back to him. And they end up eating dinner together, and she drugs him and his sister. And she sneaks into his room to try and find any kind of information she can use. And he wakes up. So she has like a bracelet with vials on it. And so she takes one out and puts a drug on her lips and kisses him to knock him back out. And then she has to sneak out and make it to her room before she passes out, which she does. And when she wakes up, she kind of goes venturing in the wilderness and ends up falling off a waterfall and about getting bitten in the face by a snake. And Aaron has to save her. So he takes her to see the bridge because she's like, well, I want to see the bridge. And a group of raiders attack, and Aaron has to go take care of the raiders, and Laura follows him so she can spy. And then she kind of acts like she's upset that he had to kill the raiders, like just to try and, I guess, get information out of him. So anyway, she like asks to basically send like a proof of life letter, and it's a way for her to check and see if she can send out information. So she does write a letter, and then her and Aaron are playing cards and kind of getting to know each other. And I think that's when they start to actually like each other, but neither one of them will admit it, and they're not really there yet. And so then they leave to see her grandmother named Nana, and we all know that people named Nana take no crap, and she is no exception. Nana takes no, she ain't having none of it. So Nana has Laura's number, and Nana is giving her the business. And anyway, when they leave Nana's house, they get attacked again by some more raiders. And she actually defends Aaron because Aaron's getting ready to get killed. And she's like, well, if he gets killed, like, that's not going to help me. They'll just ship me back home. So she saves Aaron. And Anyway, they go back to Midwatch, which is the island that they had been on, that she assumes that they live on. And the Amerindians, which are the same people that have been raiding this whole entire time, show up. And Laura is trying to overcome her seasickness because she has horrible seasickness when the Amerindians attack. And so she has to help. She has to help the Ithacanians and actually defends them. And I think that's the point at which Aaron starts to have feelings for her, when he sees her actually, like, you know, defending his people. But she is still not feeling him. And she actually uses, Saren had given her some invisible ink, and she actually takes all of Aaron's stationery and writes down like a infiltration plan for how to take down the island. And anyway, so he takes her to Maradrina, at, like, dressed as Herendellian soldiers or sailors or whatever. And she realizes that this whole entire time she's been lied to. That the reason her people are starving is because her father's greedy and taxes them to death, and conscripts them all as soldiers instead of letting them actually work the fields and grow food. So she goes to the palace, like, dead set on she's going to kill her dad. And she knows she'll be killed, but she doesn't care. And then when she gets to the palace, she realizes, okay, but after they kill me, they're going to go after Aaron and Ithacana. So she stops. And at the same time, Aaron had been following her and literally has, like, an arrow pointed to her back, because he thought that she was going to talk to spill the secrets of Ithacana, and he was going to kill her before he let that happen. So he tells her, she comes back to the inn where they were staying and proceeds to get drunk because, I mean, you know, homegirl realizes, like, her whole life she's been lied to, and she has kind of stabbed this guy and all these people in the back for no good reason. And she's feeling she's having a pity party. And so she gets snockered, and Aaron has to carry her to bed. And so this is a quote from Aaron. He says, "Since the moment I set eyes on you in Southwatch, there's been no one but you. Even if I'm a GD," I don't say the word. "Even if I'm a GD fool for it, there will never be anyone but you." And then in the morning, Aaron gets up and is eating, and the magpie shows up and basically threatens him. They get ready to leave, and when they get to the boat, the magpie recognizes Laura, and he tries to get them, like, there's soldiers coming for them, and they barely escape the harbor. And they finally make it to Midwatch. They're walking through the bridge trying to get somewhere. I can't remember. Maybe they make it to Southwatch and they're trying to get to Midwatch. Anyway, they're in the bridge, and they go topside to kind of have it out. Like, finally, like, have it out. Aaron's like, "I know you're a spy." And she's like, "Well, I was, until I figured out what the truth was." Anna shows up and accidentally knocks Laura into the flippin' ocean where there are man-eating sharks. Yeah, and Laura still can't swim, y'all. So Laura's having a bad day. Okay, she's having a bad day. And Aaron jumps in to save her. And they have to swim to, like, some spikes on one of the piers. Anyway, so he ends up saving her. He kind of finds out a little bit. I mean, a little bit, not much, but a little bit of the things that were done to Laura to turn her into what she was. And he gets upset and writes a letter to the king of Maradrina on the stationery. That stationery. The one with the infiltration plan on it in the invisible ink. Yeah, that one. So, I wrote page 284. Smut. Anyway, so they don't realize that they actually like each other, and then they have sexy times. That starts on 284, and they continue to have sexy times. And then they leave and go to this island called Aaron, that was basically kept a secret because Aaron didn't trust her. And so now he, trusts her, and he's going to allow her to see it. And they're there, and they're happy, and they're in love, and everything is wonderful. And then the storm season is over, and they have to go to the War Tides Council because they have to prepare for when the weather's good. That's when people try to attack them. So they go to the War Tides Council. Aaron convinces them to help the Maradrinian people. And the people actually, like, because they had been fed the same lie, right? It's all the Ithacanians' fault. Ithacanians, whatever. So they actually start to, like, see him as their savior and cheer for him and, you know, all that stuff. And so everything is going wonderful. They are in love. They are having lots of sexy times. The people like her. Both the nations seem to be prospering. Everything is wonderful. And then one night, one of her sisters shows up. Marilyn, the one that was supposed to be the queen, that she poisoned and knocked out so that she could go live free. But instead, she has decided to, she went right to her father. As soon as she got free, she went right to their father and told him what Laura had done. And he promised her that if she killed both of them, that he would make her rich beyond her wildest dreams and make her the heir, which we all know is never going to happen because he's got sons. They would be his heirs because he's the misogynist. So she has Aaron by the neck with a knife to his throat, and she's threatening Aaron. And Laura tries to talk her down. It's not happening. So Laura ends up having to kill her sister. Aaron takes her prisoner. And then he makes her run. He's so upset because Marilyn had the paper that detailed the infiltration plan and basically calls Laura out in front of Aaron. And he's heartbroken because he thought this whole entire time they were in love with each other. And now he thinks, oh, she was just playing me this whole entire time. She never loved me. And he takes her prisoner, and he and some of his guards, like, literally barely survived the attack because it's not just Marilyn, it's also the soldiers, Maridurnian soldiers. And they finally kind of make it through the night, and when they do, Aaron tells her to leave. He banishes her, basically. He's like, I don't want to see your face, and if I do, I'll kill you because of what she did. He thinks that she's the whole, and she is. She's not the whole reason. She's a big reason. The whole reason that his people are dying as they're being attacked. So she somehow gets a little boat and makes it to Herondale, and basically just stays right there on the coast because she likes getting news about Ithacana and what's going on with the war. And she's there drunk one night when she hears that Aaron has been captured by her dad. And so she decides, you know what? I got some sisters that owe me a life debt, and I'm about to collect and go get my man. So she goes to Aaron Hall and goes to Anna to get Anna to help her free Aaron, basically. And that's the end of the Bridge Kingdom. Next time it'll be the second book, Traitor Queen. All right, thanks, you guys. Bye.